Saturday. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift episode 105. 105 weeks in a row. My goodness, consistency, commitment. I learned that from Uncle Dave, my partner in crime. There he is, bringing him on right now. We're going to have so much fun. Kenton House. We have a very special guest today. Candy's going to hop on shortly. I'm really excited about this one specifically, and we're going to have some fun. Let's know how you're feeling. Big Dave? Let's get this party started.
Oh my goodness.
There he is.
What's going on?
How you doing?
What's going on? I'm doing great.
Well,
yes, it is.
One of my favorite parts of the week.
This is my favorite part of the week. Whenever I get to see you, I'm so proud of you. And I can see that traffic on the river just running by you. It looks like winter.
Yeah. It's a little gloomy out today.
Yeah,
but
we've had a lot of that.
What was that?
I said we've had a lot of gloomy here. We have more rain than Portland and Seattle this year in Southern California. But there's no climate change, everyone. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's right. Which begs the question, how much a beautiful bologna did you consume?
I just got back from Austin late last night. So they have a lot of bologna down there, Salt Lick bologna. It was good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was very good. I've had a lot.
Yeah.
I'm blessed.
I understand. Well, you get more handsome by the day, so you're doing something really right, Big Dave.
Yeah, man. And I feel that way, and I keep trying my best to do what's right and surround myself with the people that do what's right as well, which is a more difficult lesson to continue to learn. To surround yourself with the right people, the right idea. And I was down in Austin as a reminder with the Black Diamond Club, and just blessed for all the opportunities that they've given me to share. They had a Sales Matter conference, and I will tell you, those are the right people. You know, when you step onto a stage or do a meetup, the energy, the frequency of the right people to take advantage of the characteristics of energy, to aggregate more of the right people and ideas, to compound more of the right people and the ideas, and to accelerate the growth of that community of people who want to help you, that know people that can help you, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's why I spend every Saturday morning with you. And like you always say, your frequency is your neighborhood. And on the contrary, interestingly enough, some people are just angry, Dave. And I saw you posting about it this week. And I know your best strategy is to just pray for their happiness. Is that right?
Yeah, of course. Hurt people hurt people. And, I get anger, right? Anger is an ego-based emotion. Anger is based off of fear of the past, repeating itself from the mistakes, failures, and setbacks that we have, or fear of the future that you're not enough. And so when I get an angry person into my life, if I get a hurtful person into my life, I try my best to pray for their happiness or even help them and offer them help. And I know it's counterintuitive to and whether, I study, as you know, a lot of old texts. So every religious text, from Sanskrit to the Kabbalah to the Course in Miracles to Old New Testaments, Quran, and they all talk about loving our enemies. Why do you think they talk about loving your enemies? Because those are the people who need the love the most within your circle. And so when we're blessed with social media for people to have a platform to hate and to hurt and to attack and to judge, it just gives me an opportunity to raise my awareness to the people that need the most help. And is it difficult in my own ego not to be hurt when someone calls you fat, or someone calls you stupid, or someone tells you you stole gratitude from Gary Vee? Yeah, of course, it hurts my feelings for a minute or a moment, but then I realize how I can heal that person by praying for their happiness, asking how I could be of service or value to them, and move forward in the best trajectory of my life.
Yeah, this is so good. Also, a wise man once gave this perspective. If someone tells you that you have a big nose, you just reply, "No, I just have a small face."
Exactly. Look, man, everyone has their perception, and I don't have to worry about my nose or my ears or my eyes or my lips, because my looks are only for one person, and I've been married for 25 years. And so knowing what I look like, I found you know, a woman that has terrible eyesight. And it's really worked for me because her perceptions are skewed. So as you know, I look to her differently than I look to you, although I know you somehow find me peculiarly attractive. So does she.
Yeah, love you so much. And Juggernaut Julie, love the shout out saying I love. We're going to bring on Candy right now, which I couldn't be more excited about. She's got a ton of momentum. She's helping a lot of people. And this is going to be super fun.
Always is. And I wish my name was Candy.
Same. So what?
Craig Candy Siegel.
Yeah.
He's so sweet. We call him Candy.
There she is.
Hey, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you.
Welcome to the Saturday edition of Ridiculousness.
I love it. I caught you saying about your wife having bad eyesight, and I was cracking up. I tell Anthony
fully agreeing with her. I know, but you don't have to hurt my feelings anymore. We're good.
Candy, where are you calling in from? Where are you?
Arizona.
Awesome. Is it 2 hours back from the East Coast?
3.
Right, for now. They don't change their clocks.
Yeah, so sometimes are 2, sometimes are 3.
So listen to this. You know, I always say that awareness is so interesting. There's certain things in my life, like I've never noticed, like the little arrow on the gas gauge, it points to where the gas tank is. It took me till I was 25 to see that. It took me till my son was 3 years old, and I was potty training him to realize that there's a triangle on the bathroom door for men and a circle for women. And as he's like, Dad, let's just go to the triangle bathroom. But my most recent one, and now I'm losing my train of thought. My shit. What were we talking about? I am so old now.
Time zones.
Oh,
time
changes.
Zones.
Yeah. How about this? Does anyone know like PSD and PST and PSD? So it's standard time or daylight savings time. I've been looking. I'm 55 years old. I've been looking at that for over 50 years, and I've never realized that's how you determine if they change the clocks or not. And it's so ironic, right? I finally realized it right when the whole country is going to go to standard time and no daylight savings. So I'm sorry for ruining your time here, but I had to explain that. It's so weird how awareness works.
It is. Well, and that's what we always say, just leave out the S or the D and just put PT or ET, because otherwise it's too complicated. So, and then here we don't change clocks back, which I love, but since the rest of the world does, it is kind of difficult to remember if we're 3 hours or 2 hours or what from the others. So
yeah, it is awesome. We're going to have so much fun. For the audience that might not have been familiar, my best suggestion is do a deep dive on Candy. She's on fire. I think most people, when they think of you, they think of wealth habits and all that stuff. And we're going to dive into all that. And congratulations on the new book. Bestseller, of course it is. I know you were with Wiley, so am I. I'm just so proud of you. Watching you ascend is really fun to watch. And you're helping a lot of people. But before we dive into all the wealth stuff, I was checking out your content, Candy, as I suggest everybody should. And one thing that you said that I thought was really cool, and it's been a big paradigm shift for me, is instead of thinking, which I think most people do, is what if I fail? You shifted, and you always come out the gate with, but what if I succeed? How important has that quantum shift been for you?
Oh, it's been everything. I mean, I grew up in a trailer with 2 teenage parents. You know, my dad was a mechanic. My mom cleaned houses. So I had every right to think, what if I fail? I had no proof around me, especially back in the late 90s, that women were really successful in business. So starting out at 19, I had to have belief. I had to trust my own gut more than the doubt of not only my own fears, but other people around me saying, who do you think you are going to build this big company? So for me, it's been everything, and it's been a through line in everything I've accomplished so far. Because, you know, starting in business is one thing, but I've built businesses in other companies. I've, you know, exited. I've started a nonprofit, writing a book. So I think that no matter what, human psychology, we are going to go into something new, and we're going to have fear. And we're going to maybe even have anxiety. But the interesting thing is that anxiety in our body is the same exact feeling as excitement. So if we choose to change the narrative, instead of feeling anxiety and scarcity about this next thing, what if you just choose to make that be excitement? And that you're going to, like, what if you fail? What if you succeed? Because there's proof around us, especially with social media, that we can be successful, right? Like, look, we're looking at the two of you. There's so many people we know that have been successful that maybe didn't have the right parents, the right education, or the right connections, but they found a way too. So why not you? And I think when we ask better questions, as we always say, you're going to get better answers.
Dave, is she on fire or what?
Well, you knew she would be. And yes, the answer is absolutely yes. And for me, you know, I just spoke about this yesterday in Austin. There's a real simple thing that happens when you grow up with nothing. And I grew up with a single mom, 6 kids, 5 boys and a girl. She would actually pack our dinner in a paper bag so she could work 2 jobs and still babysit the 6 kids in her station wagon. So, you know, I have every reason to look at life differently as well. But there was something that happened for me, and it's throughout my career why I think I have an eclectic career and multiple businesses, and always, even in my mid-50s, right, always changing into something bigger and better. And it's a best option philosophy. And I had dinner with Tom Bilyeu, who's a close friend, and we agree on 80% of stuff. Like 80% of things, Tom and I are like a jury, shaking our head, going, yeah, that's how you should do it. You know, scale a business, do this. But the one thing we don't agree on is he thinks that this life is this life. And he was surprised to see that, you know, or maybe not surprised, but I believe in, you know, 100 million lifetimes. I believe in past lives, future lives. This is my belief. And people will ask me why. And I'll say, well, can you prove to me there's not? And they're like, well, of course not. Right. And so for me, it's like, okay, so I have an option. My perspective could be, this is my only life, or I can have 100 million of them. Right. And so for me, I'm always simplifying it to what's my best option of perspective? Like, what perspective is better for me to participate in? One that's limiting and scarce and angry and all the things that people do participate in, or, you know, this better option that there's, you know, some omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source that is a system of unified, infinite thought that I'm a part of. And that infinite thought protects me and promotes me at all time, loves me more than my mom, all the things that I do believe in. That, by the way, I just want to tell everyone, I have no proof at all. I have no proof at all. The only proof I have is that since I've taken the best option approach in my life with perspective, that somehow I've ended up in a better place, a better situation for myself than I've ever been in. And my life continues to move in that direction. And when I don't take the best option, I end up with the lesser of the two, the worst option. So for me, I think your perception is so validated by your success, one, but two, by a simple philosophy of why not, or why won't you take the better option?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like just to sediment what you said, like if we have the choice to make better decisions, get a better result, have more fun, have more success while we're doing it, why wouldn't we try? Because the alternative is to not be successful, to be poor, to be unhappy, to be miserable. Like, so why not go after it? I personally would rather try so many different things, fail at a number of them, than to stay mediocre and successful at one thing just because it's safe. Like, I'd rather go after it all, try and fail, than to stay where I am and miss the mark of the person that I was created to be. And I have much stronger belief like you. I do think that we are able to, you know, leave this earthly body and still have spirit. And so for me, it's like, what were you created to be here to do? And if you just stay in what's safe and what's mediocre, you're never going to try. You're never going to go after it. And maybe you're going to miss exactly what you were created to do. And that's what still gets me up, even after successful exits, books. I have another book that I'm already writing, because I know that we are all here. Everyone watching here, you're created for something great. Your time on here is not to be mediocre. So learn as much as you can, do as much as you can, try as much as you can. And I guarantee you that if you swing those bats enough, eventually you're going to score some home runs.
Oh my goodness, this is so good. And it took me a little while longer than I'd like to admit to find this out. I spent 13 years on Wall Street, and although I was having success, I knew there was so much more out there for me. And then it occurred to me in the lockdown, when I took a second to reassess, that just like you just said, like playing it safe, but it was even worse than playing it safe. I was actually miserable. And I made this realization that I would rather die than choose to go back and be miserable. So although there's no guarantee on taking this swing and starting reinventing myself and so forth, I knew that by at least taking that shot, not only can I live with it, but more than likely, because I'm resourceful and hardworking, I would figure other things out. So it's not really a failure once you get into the arena, because it might not be this, but it might be that. But you'll never know unless you take that swing, right, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many instances still in my life where, you know, I'm blessed to mentor someone like you, Craig, and change your own perspective and just give the options, opportunities, and touches of favor that you may not have the ability yet because of your experience, situational knowledge to know. And I think that's why we started with surround yourself with the right people, the right ideas, because the more that you surround yourself with the people that have enjoyed the consistent, persistent pursuit of that potential that Candy's illustrated so well in her life and you're illustrating in your life, that it tells you all its secrets. And so if we want to have a revelation or a salvation in our life, non-religious, spiritual, theoretical, or even philosophical, if you want to have that type of revelation, the easiest way to do it is to find people who have already revealed to themselves the secrets. And, you know, I was just thinking on my flight home last night, and I don't know if anyone knows Vaynerchuk. Gary Vaynerchuk's one of my mentors. And when I turned 50, we started working together, and he changed the way, like I remember when I first started my podcast, and this is a conversation I had with Craig, I told him, why would I do a podcast? I have a syndicated sports radio show. There's 200,000 podcasts. Why would I, a 50-year-old, you know, middle-aged mutant turtle, want a podcast? No, that would be stupid. And he gave me his revelations, right? He told me the secrets, and 1,400 episodes later, I bless that man every day. And still, he's changing my mind. We're doing Craig, I didn't even tell you this, a David Meltzer experience at VCon. So on the field at Lucas Oil Stadium, it's a David Meltzer experience at VCon. And I'm sitting here going, where did my career go? Like, I was a lawyer, right? I was a CEO of a sports agency. How the heck is there now, like, at some event, like literally an experience for a brand that I never imagined could even be there, except for the fact that Candy, you and I all share a perspective of abundance of, hey, we can create anything in our lives that we want. And if we do our best, learn lessons and have fun with it, why not? It's that simple. Why not?
Why not? And it's so funny. You said a couple things that made me think of, you know, when the people were around, right? I feel like, especially after my last exit in 2019 and I came on to this online world, you know, I didn't even have an Instagram. I didn't have a personal Instagram because I was building a business brand, right? Not my own brand. And so it's funny, Craig, when you said, I've seen your ascension, I'm like, I've been doing this for 25 years. It's just now people are actually seeing me do it, right? That's the difference. So people are like, oh my God, you're shooting up. I'm like, dude, I've been doing this for 2.5 decades. It's like, you're just now seeing behind the curtain. But the only hack, what I found is that people want this quick fix, this instant gratification, right? Wealth, business success, it's about playing the long game. There is no hack. There's no shiny bullet. But if there is anything that just hedges the odds in your favor slightly, it's about seeing the other people that have done it, the proof, modeling their success so that you can condense those decades that it took into a shorter period of time. That's it. Like, that's self-education, listening to podcasts like this, learning from people that have done it is the only hack, but you still got to do the work. You can't sit on the couch and manifest it, right? You got to get up, take the action, implement, execute, and visualize and surround yourself. It's not an or, it's and. You got to do all of the things. And so I think, you know, with David, with your career, like you said, and Craig, 13 years on Wall Street, like, you got to do the work, and then you got to have the belief in your own ability greater than the doubt of other people to step out and do what you want to do. And there's proof all around you. Even if you don't have proof that you've been successful yet in your life, you can look at somebody that has a similar story than you and had a similar experiences, and that's still successful. And you point your eyes on that as opposed to the 95% of people in your life that tell you you can't do it.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I don't know if true words ever been spoken. Dave, I want to turn with you, but Candy, I just want to say, and I was going to mention later on in the conversation that I was definitely referring to your personal brand. I know you've been crushing it for 2.5 decades, and I'm so proud of you. So I was referring to that as well. But Dave, what were you going to say?
Yeah, two things. One, as far as the personal brand goes, and I'm blessed to here after 6 years have quite a big Instagram following. But I love to tell people how when I first got verified, I have 3 teenage daughters at the time, and they were super excited. They're like, "Dad, you're famous," and I'm thinking, I ran the most notable sports agency in the world. I was CEO of Samsung's phone division. I was a multi-millionaire Like, and now you guys think I'm famous. I'm thinking like, what did they have a commercial on me or the life story of Dave Meltzer? I'm like, why am I famous all of a sudden? They're like, because you have a blue check, you're verified. I was like, what does that mean? They're like, on Instagram, Dad, you're verified. I'm like, oh really? Like, Dad, can we DM you? And now my name is David Meltzer. My kids are all M&Ms, right? They're Marissa, Mia, and Marlena.
Oh,
And so I said back, and I'll never, they still bring this up, right? I said back to them, yeah, of course you can DM me. I'll MM you back. And you should have seen their faces. Like, you are the biggest loser idiot in the entire, like, how do you have 500,000 followers and you don't even know what a DM is? You moron. Anyway, but to the instant gratification part, this is a really key component because successful people like Candy have learned to detach the emotions from the outcome and put it onto the progress. There is instant gratification in the world, but the human ability does not have a capability of seeing it. And this is where I think a key distinction in successful people is that if we have the correct energy in our life, energy aggregates, compounds, and accelerates on itself. Behavior is an energy. Money is an energy. And if we know that we are utilizing our behaviors in the trajectory of what we think we want, whatever it may be, and have an open mind to change it by learning from the lessons. But if we have this ability to understand there is instant gratification in good behavior, and that's good progress. That mathematically, it's impossible to implement good behaviors in our life and not progress in a good way. And if you are able somehow to have faith that what I'm doing today consistently, persistently in the pursuit of my potential, good behaviors are going to aggregate, compound, and accelerate. So saving money, doing good deeds, doing my best, learning lessons are going to create an instant gratification of progress instead of outcome. It's amazing how the characteristics of energies occur, which means you're going to aggregate more good behavior, more people, more ideas. You're going to compound them. So instead of progressing at 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. And then on top of it, it will accelerate, which will actually satisfy the human capability of being aware of the progress you're making, which is the distinctive area that's missing for most people, is they want to be aware of progress. And if you can come to the realization, I don't have the capability of being aware of progress because I don't know what I don't know, and things happen, as you say, in the long game, then we can reconcile this great deterrent and resistance that most people have, that they want to see the outcome instantly instead of the progress with faith instantly.
So good. Yeah, and for anyone that doesn't, like, because me, I'm like, what was that word? Like, I have a high school education. Like, what are some of the things that you
Sorry, yeah,
said?
that's my problem. Nobody understands what the F I'm saying. So
I'm like, well, here, let me break it down for everyone.
Thank you.
This is what I actually do well. I'm able to take complex topics and break them down really simply because
you gotta
that's
go
the way
on the road
I learn.
with me, Candy. I need you. I need you. Go on the road with me. I'll speak, and then you know, like the person interprets beside it. You interpret into common law. It'd be perfect.
I'll be like, okay, here's what that means. So I'm gonna give everyone listening an action of exactly what he just said. Every single thing that you go to do in your life, every piece of food that you put in your mouth, every drink that you drink, whether you decided to work out this morning, you getting on this live, every single thing you did, whether you start because you're not ready, the business that you want, when you start investing, even though you don't really know what that means, every single decision you make takes you one step closer to the life that you want to live, or it'll take you one step further away. Every single decision takes you one step closer or one step further away. So when you go to make a big decision in your life, this is what he was talking about, compounding, aggregates. When you go to make a big decision, stop and ask yourself, does this decision take me closer to or further away from the life and the vision that I so desire? That one question, I promise you, if I would have asked myself that many times in my life, I would have avoided mistakes. I would have avoided not buying a certain thing, and I would have just bought another property. I would have avoided a relationship that I shouldn't have been in. All of those decisions come back to the life that you want. And if you don't so clearly know the life that you want, the success that you deserve, I promise you that you will go through life bumbling along. You need to have that vision so clear, and then all of those decisions will stack up and get you there closer, sooner.
Candy's on absolute fire today. This is awesome. I'd be doing the audience the service if I didn't touch upon this a little bit with the stuff that you focus on, and you're so brilliant. There's a lot of noise right now in the economy with the banks and so forth, inflation. What do you think the next couple of years looks like for the economy, Candy? And how should they position themselves to possibly take advantage of some great opportunities coming our way?
Yeah. So what everyone really needs to know, summary, is when you hear these words, clickbait, gloom, doom, recession, all this stuff, I want you to switch those words. When you hear recession, volatility, market downturn, I want you to flip it and think opportunity every time you hear those words, because there's only 4 to 5 times in our lifetime that we will get an economy like this, that we can buy down in the markets and come out on the other side. It's kind of like a shoe sale. When we can get shoes on sale, we can buy more of them, right? So a car sale, like that's the way I look at it. So all the stocks are on sale. There's certain industries that are on sale. There's certain commodities that are on sale. And even with inflation, if you haven't invested yet, there's 2 things that you should start to do right now. No matter what that happens in this economy or any economy, there is nothing more important than the country's economy than what's happening in your own personal economy. So I'm going to say that again. There is nothing that happens in the country's economy that is more important than what happens in your own personal economy. And no matter how great the market is, if you have a bunch of debt that you're paying on credit cards and you're paying 17%, you can never out-invest bad debt. So the very unsexy thing that nobody likes to hear is you have to pay down bad debt. Get rid of it. And this is bad debt, not debt on real estate properties and business and real assets. This is bad debt on depreciating assets, car loans, boat loans, credit card loans. When you start to pay that down using the rule of 7 that I talk about in the book, is making sure that anything with an interest rate of 7% or more is typically, generally speaking, bad debt. We want to start to pay that down so that you can the goal is to take at least 20% of your earned income. And if you don't do anything right now, start with 5, because building wealth, as David will tell you as well, building wealth is a habit. What you do with a little will determine what you do with a lot. And if you're making $50,000, $100,000, or $150,000 now, and you're spending it all, and you have a lot more month than money, you're going to do the same thing when you're making 1.5 million. You're just going to have bigger houses, bigger cars, flashier watches. So that's one thing, is debt. And the second thing is I'm all about action. So what are the things that we can do right now? Personal finance and business is simple. You either increase your revenue or your income, you decrease expenses. The gap, the bigger the gap you get is what you can start to invest. But it's not so much even what your paycheck is, it's what you do with it that matters. Because if you're not investing your money to make more money, you will constantly have to trade time for money for your entire life. So what can you do now? What is one way that you can just increase your income 10%? 10%. If you're making 100,000, how can you make 110,000? What can you do on the side? What are some of those hours that you can make better decisions and start to pay your wealth in your life? And then how can you reduce expenses by 10%? Can you take a look at all of your bank statements, your credit card statements, and see what can you cut out to reduce your spending? When you open up that gap of increasing 10% and decreasing 10%, now you can start investing that into either your work retirement, if you have one, or ETFs, or, there's so many options for you. It depends on where you are in the journey. But wealth is not complicated. The issue is none of us were taught this in school. We're taught about the Civil War and biology that none of us are ever going to use in our life. It would have been really nice to understand taxes, how to reduce them so that we can keep more of what we make. So obviously that's like a 2-hour answer, but I just wanted to kind of give people something to go off of what to do.
Candy, I love that you make it so digestible and practical. And this is tangible that someone can listen right now, extract, and start immediately developing better habits. Dave?
Yeah, I love math. And that's always helped me out, because simple math is something that can be applied to how we build wealth. And what that wealth means is also knowing what we want today in the trajectory of what we think we want in the future, personally, experientially, giving and receiving wise. But the math has to make sense. And in order to do so, you have to know that, 1, there's the amount of time that you put into it, productive time. 2, the systems that create the efficiencies of that time. And then 3, the statistical success that you have utilizing pragmatic historical practices that continue to work. You know, I study history because it reveals human nature. Human nature never changes. And what Candy is talking about, we're going to have 4 or 5 of these huge opportunities of accelerated change. Accelerated change creates opportunity. So I completely agree and subscribe to the success formula that Candy teaches and she empowers others with. And take the time to do the math. You know, people are afraid of those numbers when they look at debt. Take it from someone that lost over $100 million. It took a lot of ego courage to look at my financial position when I was losing everything and say, okay, you have to make some changes because you stopped doing the math. And that simple idea of, am I taking a step towards what I want or away from it, would have kept me away from strip clubs and casinos and the wrong people in my life as well, which I've learned over the last 17 years as I've been taking the right steps and catching the missteps a lot sooner. And I just want to thank both of you for taking your time on Saturday to pour into the community. You guys are amazing. If you both, as you know, need anything, just reach out. I'd love to do more with, as I do with Craig, but Candy, anything I can do for you as well. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and the best part is everybody can actually grab Candy's book right now and learn more and develop the practices, the strategies, and the tools. This was so much fun, Candy. I can't wait to do so much more with you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And have a great weekend, both of you. Love you guys.
Thanks, guys. God bless. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
That was so much fun. Unbelievable. And the way Candy makes this so digestible and practical and tangible so you can start applying it right away. It's so special. Paradigm Shift episode 105 in the books. Life is good. We just got a new puppy this week. So much joy. And this conversation right here. You know, we like to bring on unbelievable guests that can talk about different topics. And what Candy was talking about today is, it's not so difficult. And I understand that we didn't learn a lot of this stuff in school. We probably should have. But she breaks it down and makes it so practical, right? Figure out how you can make 10% more. What can you cut back on that realistically doesn't serve you right now? And then obviously all the mindset stuff. And if you guys weren't familiar with Candy, definitely start following her and checking her out. Big Dave, as always, thank you so much. I love you guys. Also, community, I'm going to be in LA on Monday, in and out. If any of you are near the area, shoot me a message and let me know. Love you guys. Have an unbelievable weekend.